there is need to create a conducive environment for the youth to become productive citizens, and many of the stakeholders in the industry, economic sphere in the country need to take their own part, need to play their own part to making sure that these youths are given that platform to be productive citizens. The church as well has its role to play in such a setup. So we want to hear of a story from Baptist Church in Lilongwe. The church has embarked on a project where they're constructing a complex where there will be a lot of activities that the youth will be involved in as far as making them productive and responsible citizens is concerned. I'm joined by the senior pastor of Capital City Baptist Church, that's Pastor Sunrise Msiska. Welcome.
Thank you.
In the first place, tell us about this project. What is it all about?
This project is a complex for youth center. It's a youth center, that's a complex. And it is multi-purpose. So we have in it a sports complex, the auditorium, where they can use it for sports, but they can also use it for meetings. They can also use it for dramas. They can also use it for all kinds of entertainment. Then we have within the building a library, also a Christian bookshop. We also have in it a cafeteria where the young people could actually have snacks so that they don't have to go away. They can stay here for the whole day. We also have within it rooms for counseling for youth that need help on different issues. So all these are in there. And that we also have a place where we'll be providing other helps that the youth may need. This is open to all youth in Lilongwe, not just Baptists, not just Christians. They don't have to be Christians. They just have to be youth that are living within the city and would like to have a safe place where they could meet and express themselves as young people. Then they would come here, and then we'll provide them with places where they could do indoor games. They could meet and associate as young people. Also, there is a place for them to search the internet in a safe environment. So this is all that is what we're trying to do here.
How is it important for the church to create such an environment for social interaction for the youth?
Well, it's very important because as a church, we know that the young people need to be guided. That is the most important thing. The young people need to express themselves, but they also need to be guided. Secondly, the young people need a safe place where they could express themselves without being deceived or misled by devices that are out there. So as a church, we thought, well, in the past, in this city, we used to have places that were constructed specifically for youth. We had in Kavali too, we had the youth center there. We also had in Kavali 1 another youth center, and even in Area 15, Area 25, we had youth centers that were constructed where youth could come together, associate, and do their things as youth. Now those places have since disappeared. At the youth center at Kavali, it's now being used for many other things and not for youth. Now, as a church, we're saying that we still have youth. In fact, now we have more youth than we used at that time to be. And so we said we need to have a place where we can have some youth come together. Now, the place we have constructed here, of course, is not big enough for all the youth in the city. The auditorium can take about 500 to 600 people. But we know we need to do a little something than just complain. It's better, as someone has already said, to light a candle in the darkness than just to complain that there's darkness. So we decided as a church to provide for that, to do what we can with the limited resources and a limited space that we have here in terms of land. So that's why we decided to do that.
critics out there, or the people that in the church would want to call unbelievers, would say nowadays the church has become a breeding ground for immoral behavior. The youth are just despising themselves to be followers of Christ, but in actual sense they are doing all sorts of immoral behaviors from the church, in the church. Wouldn't this be a bleeding ground for such behaviors if we try to put the youth together? Where will they tap the right behaviors from when we are creating this environment for them to be socializing with themselves?
So that's where I said they need to be guided. We are going to have mature Christians in their midst to provide guidance. So it's not that we'll be leaving them to themselves while all of us go home. We will be allowing them to play games while we are watching with them, and some of our youth pastors could play with them. We would allow them to search internet, but this internet will be protected. They will not reach all and every site. But we'll make sure that they search only the safe sites. So there will be some guidance. So the difference between a youth center at church and a youth center out there, the best one is that of guidance. It is going to be guided. So the youth will come here, they will be free. But we'll make sure that at this place, they don't smoke marijuana, because our youth pastors will be in their midst. We will allow them to play the games, to socialize and talk, but we will not allow them to do things that are destructive and dangerous to them. So the presence of mature Christians and people who love young people and people who themselves are principled, the presence in their midst would act as a deterrent for them to do what they would otherwise do when they go to these other places where young people go and there is no guidance and there is no supervision.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the project itself. How much is this investment and how far have you gone?
This is a huge investment. It is much bigger than perhaps we thought it would be when the idea started. We knew we wanted to do something like a big, but at the same time we wanted to do something decent. We also wanted to do something that would be lasting, not something that would be here and then 10 years down the line we want to knock it down and build another thing. We wanted to build something that would be lasting, something that would be decent, something that would be attractive to young people, something that would be modern. And that's what the ideas we have. Now when we put this thing together and gave it to the architect to design it, and he designed it, we said, yes, this is what we want. Then we want someone to give us an estimate of what it will cost. Now that's now when we were alarmed. We were alarmed that it was now going to cost us $1 million. $1 million for a congregation of 700 people. That was huge for us. But at that time, we couldn't pull back because we had already paid the architect. We had already paid the one who was giving us the estimate. We had already paid the civil engineer who had also put it. So we had already made some payments. And so we couldn't pull back. But the question was, how do we do this? Then that's where...
With faith. The church always had faith.
The faith there. Mm-hmm. That says, if God has asked us to do this, then God will help us. Of course, when you talk about faith of 600-700 people, you don't expect 700 people to have faith for that. Few people did have faith, others doubted, others stayed on the sidelines, says, let's wait and see what will happen. But the few people that had faith started putting in the money. And then we found that we had done the foundation. So some people started joining it. Says, oh, this thing is actually doable. So we've now done more than half, but we still have a long way to go. Yeah.
When should we expect this project to be complete?
The contractor has given us up to the end of this year. I just came back from holiday now. I'm looking at this building. I'm thinking that we may actually shoot into next year. But certainly this will be completed by next year. If probably within the first half of next year. We should be able to get the young people start using it.
And in terms of the finances, you're doing well. You have all the finances to complete the project.
No, we don't have all the finances. We've never had all the finances. We raise the finances as we go building. So what God has been doing to us or with us is that each time the contractor does a certain amount of work, he invoices us. And by the grace of God, by that time, we have money to pay for his invoice. So we pay him, he continues working, we continue raising funds. And then he invoices us another. And we pay him, and then he continues building, we continue raising funds. So up to this point, we have paid him all his invoices. And we have a little something to pay for his next invoice. So that's how we're going. We are really living like that. God has never given us all the money we need for us to start. In fact, we thank God for this contractor, because the other contractor was saying, well, you're a church, so you must at least tell me that you have at least half of the required funds here before I start doing work for it. So now for 750 million, it meant we should be having at least close to 400 million. Well, we didn't have. So we said, sorry, we don't have, and we don't think we can raise up to 400 million before we start building. We don't think we can do that. So he didn't do it, he didn't come, we parted. But we found this one who was saying, well, I understand this is a church, but I will just be I will be putting in my money, and at a certain level, I will be giving you invoice. If you pay me, then I will do the next. So he says, that sounds good. So he started it, he did the foundation, just digging it and starting it, and then he gave us the invoice, and we paid. And then it has been going on like that.
Yeah, God must have been faithful with you.
God has proved to be really faithful, more than faithful. In fact, he has even surprised even those of us who believed that this could be done. Because there have been times when we do not really have the money, and we know the invoice is coming this week, and the invoice comes, and we have an arrangement with the contractor that we should pay the invoice within 30 working days. Within those 30 working days, we have all the money. His invoices have not been small. 30 million, maybe the smallest was like 20 million, but 30, 40 million invoices. So when they come, you have an invoice of 40 million, you look at what you have in the account, it's 20 million. You need 20 million to finish within this month. You find that God does it, and then we pay. And then he doesn't know how much we struggle, but he just is happy to be paid, and we are happy to see him doing well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate for coming.
Thank you. Pastor Sandres Msiska is the senior pastor of Capital City Baptist Church, and he was telling us about the sports complex, the complex project that they are undertaking at the church. And he says the aim is to bring together youth from all corners of the city of Lilongwe to utilize this facility to enhance their talent and indeed learn to be productive and responsible citizens in life. My name is Chimomangazi. Keep watching Times Television.